everybody. Welcome to week 6 of Tales and Tales, the Lewiston Public Library summer reading program. Last week we talked about reptiles, and I have a reptile on my shirt, that's a turtle. And this week we're talking about mammals. There's a mammal on my shirt too. It's a little bunny. And this program is called Unusual Animal Friends. So I'm fascinated by animals of different species that become friends, and we have some really cool books here at the library that describe some of these friendships and how they happen. One of the really cool books we have is called Best Friends Forever. This is a National Geographic book, but it's a chapter book. So it contains chapters about different animal friends, including this pair on the front. Can you see who that is? That's right, it's a dog and an orangutan. What? I love this pair. If you see pictures of them, they're really funny together, and they have some other friends too. So the orangutan's name is Surya, and the dog's name is Roscoe, and they met on a nature reserve when they were going down for a swim with their friend Bubbles. They have an elephant friend named Bubbles. That's pretty cool, huh? And Roscoe, the dog, was a stray, and they just met by chance, and they just became best friends ever. And you can see from the cover how much they like each other. They like to play, and they're pretty silly together. Also in this book is a really cool story about Coco the gorilla who loved cats. Coco the gorilla learned sign language, and she liked to tell her trainers that she wanted a cat, and they finally got her one named All Ball. So how does an orangutan and a dog and a gorilla and a cat become friends? They don't do that usually out in the wild, right? Well, that's one of the ways that it happens. It's usually in a situation where the animals have food and shelter, and they don't have to worry about that. And so they can look at other animals that in the wild, they might look at them as food, but in a situation where they don't have to worry about food, and they come together with this other animal, which often happens in rescue situations, they have a chance to become friends. If you like the story of Roscoe and Surya, the orangutan and the rescue dog, you might like this book by the Dodo called 50 Odd Couples. This is a really fun book that has a lot of cat friends and a lot of dog friends. So most of the animal friends involve either a dog or a cat. For example, one of my favorites, Barkley and Rudy. It's a dog and a duck. Aren't they cute? So they got to be friends. And this is an example of a situation where if you're talking about a dog in the wild, which could be a wolf or a fox, a wild kind of dog, they would never be friends with a duck probably, because that would be something they could eat. And you never say never, because strange things happen all the time. But these two met, and at first they weren't sure they liked each other, but pretty soon you can see they became best friends. That happens a lot with unusual animals too, unusual animal friends too. When they first meet, they're like, I don't know, but they hang out a little more, and they decide they like each other. Maybe you know someone like that in your life. You know, you have a person in your class or at the playground that you're like, that person looks different from me. I'm not sure if I want to be their friend. But then you start playing together and you're like, hey, this person's cool. Let's hang out. It can happen all the time. Here's another one with a dog and a rabbit. This is Lola and Pepper. They're so cute. So this is 50 Odd Couples. This is a book we have here at the library. This is another book by National Geographic Kids called Together Forever. It's another chapter book, and it has one of my favorite animal stories, Mr. G and Jelly Bean. Can you guess what animals those are? Mr. G and Jelly Bean. Well, Mr. G is a goat, so maybe the G stands for goat, Mr. Goat, and Jelly Bean is a donkey. And this is such a sweet story because these two had been living together, and then they were separated. And Mr. G just kind of lost interest in life and didn't eat, didn't interact with anybody, and nobody could figure out what was wrong. And finally somebody remembered, hey, wasn't there a donkey? Weren't they hanging out together in the same pen? And so they managed to get them together, and what do you think happened? Mr. G was so happy, and Jelly Bean the donkey was so happy to see each other again. They had become really close friends, and when they were separated, they were just so sad they didn't want to do anything. So this is a really cool story told in a few chapters. You can see that there's lots of nice pictures, and the text is really big. So this is a really fun way to learn about animal friends. Do you have any animal friends? Do you have a pet, like a cat or a dog or a turtle? Some people have snakes as pets. Some people have hamsters or gerbils. There are all kinds of things we have as pets. But some people also have friends that are out in the wild. And one of the most famous people to have animal friends in the wild is named Jane Goodall. Have you heard of Jane Goodall? And this is one of the books we have about Jane Goodall. And I wanted to show you 3 books really quick that we have about her, because these are series that we have that talk about famous people that are really cool. This is the Who Is series. So we have a lot of books in this series about famous people, and they have some cool pictures and big text. So you can learn about famous people like Jane Goodall. We also have Little People, Big Dreams. And this is a picture book, so there aren't many words, it's mostly pictures. So this is a great way to learn about famous people if you like a strong visual component. And here's Jane, and she was friends with chimpanzees. And she spent a lot of her life actually living near or kind of with the chimpanzees, and became very good friends with some of them. And the third book that we have a few of these series. This is Ordinary People Change the World. I am Jane Goodall, and this is another picture book format. And this one's kind of cool because it's also like a graphic novel. It's got cartoonish and panel kind of. So if you like graphic novels and you want to learn about famous people, this is a really cool way to do it. This is my favorite series because I like graphic novels. And finally, I just wanted to share a couple of picture books that have unusual animal friends. This is one of the staff favorites called This Way, Charlie. And this is based on a true story of a horse and a goat that became friends. And this is Jack the goat, who came to live in a farm that's kind of a rescue farm. And Jack met Charlie the horse, and Charlie is blind. So Jack helped him find the really good places to eat grass and to stay safe and not run into things. And nobody had to teach Jack to do that. Jack and Charlie figured it out together as they became friends. So that's This Way, Charlie. And the final book I want to tell you about real quick is Owen and Mazee. Owen was a baby hippo, and Mazee was a kind of grumpy 130-year-old tortoise. And Owen got orphaned and lost his family and needed to stay at the rescue facility and needed a friend. And they didn't know if these two would get along or not, but they needed to put them in the same area. And they came back the next morning. The hippo and the tortoise were friends. Everyone was so surprised because Grumpy Tortoise didn't like anybody. So those are some of the stories of unusual animal friends, and in some of the really cool books that we have here at the library, which we'd be happy to pull out for you if you stop by, and we hope you do. We have plenty of mammal-themed take-and-make kits still available that you can come and get as well. And one last thing, today's secret code for this program is GOAT. Because there are so many cool goat animal friends, I decided to use GOAT as our secret code. So you can put that on your passport. And if you need to get a passport, stop on by. We'd be happy to get you one and show you how to fill it out and get you on your way to getting your free book and entered for our prize drawings. Thanks for watching and have a great day.